I want to tell you something that happened to me on Upwork, how I almost got scammed on Upwork. I feel that a lot of freelancers, most of them are not really talking about this, and I just wanted to share my experience so that in case you started experiencing this or you've experienced this before, you're going to know how to go about it. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you everything, how I got the job on Upwork and how everything started and how they ghosted me for some weeks before I later got my money. So stay tuned. Hi everyone, my name is Ada Vitorawali and this is Automate with Ada channel. So over here we post content on automation, content on freelancing tips. So if this is your first time, please subscribe and also make sure you turn on your post notification. I post videos every week, so make sure you don't miss any of my videos. So here's how it all started. I saw this job on Upwork. Was it March? Yes, by March I saw the job on Upwork, and then I applied. I wrote a proposal and I applied. And when I applied, at first they didn't reply to me, but after was it like 2 weeks? Yeah, up to 2 weeks. Yeah, they now replied to me and they asked me other questions, and then I got the job. They sent me an offer letter for the job. I was so happy because that was like my second job on Upwork. Yeah, after I got my first job, it took, I don't know if it's a month or some weeks, then I got that second job. So I was really, really happy to, that I've gotten another job on Upwork. So when they sent me the offer letter, everything was going well. It's actually a client from one of the African countries. So everything was going well. Everything was going smooth. They gave me things I should do. They wrote down the automation, about 6 of the automation I should work on in Airtable. It was actually an Airtable job. So it was actually an Airtable job, and they wanted someone to build a workspace for them. So I started working on it, doing the automations, about 6 automations they gave me to build all the 6 automations, and I was really proud of myself. I was happy that wow, I could actually do this, because you just graduated and you've been looking for a job, and then maybe you get one job and then you do that one, and then you get another one, you'll be so happy. And the second one was a bit complex than my first job I got on Upwork. The second one was just something that was more complex compared to the first one I got on Upwork. So I was really proud of myself until one day I woke up and I said, okay, let me go and continue what I was doing. All of a sudden, I noticed that they have removed me from the workspace. Prior to them removing me, I was chatting with this person that hired me, and he was like, I should wait a bit. They want to reach out to their boss and discuss some things about what I've built so far. I said, okay, no problem. So I was still waiting for that, for only for me to wake up the next day, and I noticed that they removed me from the workspace. I was shocked, like, what is going on now? Why did they remove me from workspace I'm still working on? I was still trying to test the automation and everything I've done, even after building it. All of a sudden, since they removed me, I was so shocked and I felt so bad. I reached out to the guy, like, hello, what happened? Send a very professional message to him, asking him why they removed me, what happened. I was actually waiting for the response, since he said he wanted to reach his boss, and I was still waiting for his response. I didn't get a response. I didn't get a response from them. The next day I messaged them, I didn't get a response. The next day I messaged them, I didn't get a response. Like, it dawned on me that this was actually getting fishy. It was getting fishy, and it's an hourly paid job. So I don't know what to do. I was so confused. I started sending emails to their boss, because I also know the boss. She's actually a woman. I started sending message to her through email, even through email. I was also sending message to her through email, through Upwork message. No response. Nobody was talking to me. Nobody was telling me anything. So when I didn't get any response from them, and all of a sudden I now allowed it to rest for a while. After a while, I got a message from Upwork. So I've worked and gone so far. My hours are being tracked. But then I got a message from Upwork that I will have to refund the clients. I was like, what do they mean by I have to refund the clients? I don't know what happened. So it was as if the hours I've worked, Upwork, it was almost close to the day I was supposed to get my money, but Upwork sent me a message that I will have to refund the clients. So I don't know, as if they wanted to charge them from their card. Upwork couldn't charge them from their card or something. I don't even really know what happened. I just got a message that Upwork said they were going to refund the clients. That's with the hours I've worked. All the hours I've worked, calculate everything I've worked, they'll carry out the whole money and refund the clients. Omo, you do me bang. you know I was, Jesus, what is happening here? I was so surprised. Is this how this thing is being done? And considering the fact that it was my second job on Upwork, the first one I did was a fixed job, so I didn't really know much about tracking hours, writing memos. I didn't really know much about that. I didn't know that every time you come to do work for a client, you need to write a memo. I didn't know about that. I wasn't taking it serious. Sometimes I can come the next day and work. I will just track the hours. I'm not going to write a memo and all this. So I didn't really know about that. So when Upwork sent me that message for me that I was going to refund the client, I sent them an email telling them that this is what happened. This is what happened. Upwork now said, okay, they're going to check. So they checked it and they go back to me that, okay, they noticed that I myself, I wasn't, or said I was also not writing my memos, that my hourly hours I was tracking, there was no memos that will back it up. So they can't really also pay me the hours I've worked. That there's not, no, I didn't track my hours very well. So they can't pay me. My people, I was so in fact, it's small thing I would have entered depression. Small thing. Oh my God, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to start. I started crying. I started calling my friend. I called my friend. I told her I was crying on the phone. I called my coach. I was telling her I was crying on the phone. My coach was like, calm down, that she hasn't really experienced something like this before. I was so down. I was so sad. I see all the hours I've worked, what I've done for these people, will it all go to waste? Is this how it's going to go to waste and nothing will come for me? After crying and crying, I told myself I wasn't going to allow my money to go. I said, no, I'm not going to allow this money to go. I started sending them countless emails. I started sending them countless. Every day I made sure to send an email. I also made sure to send an Upwork message. In the period of that, I got the full name of their boss and I went to search for her on LinkedIn. Every day I was dropping comments on her LinkedIn post because I noticed that she was very, very consistent on LinkedIn. Every day I was dropping a comment on her post. Please reply to my email. Those kind of things. So when she saw the comments, she now had to reply my email. I was like, why would I be sending and commenting on her post on LinkedIn? So I told her that all of it. So I told her even that I didn't hear from you people. You people removed me from the workspace. I didn't get my money. So what do you expect me to do and all those stuff? So she now told me to wait for a while. She gave me a particular day that, okay, so day she was going to see what she would do. That day came, I didn't see anything. I resumed back to commenting on her posts. I resumed back to sending constant emails. I resumed back to sending Upwork messages back to her so that they'll get back to me. And then after a while, because of how she saw how persistent I was, because I didn't give up. I said I wasn't going to give up on this till I get my money back. So after she saw how persistent I was and how it wasn't really looking nice on her LinkedIn profile and all those stuff, she now had to say, okay, she asked me, how is she going to pay me the money? I said that how is she going to pay me the money so that it will be known that she has paid me my money. I said, okay, she can pay through Upwork. Let her pay through Upwork. So she has to pay it as a bonus through Upwork, so that let it not be as if the money is coming to me directly, right? Let there be a middleman. So let Upwork be the middleman. And that was how we did it. She paid me all my money. God, she paid me all my money. As a bonus through Upwork. And then it took a while, like some days, you know how Upwork works, and then it took some days before the money now finally came to me. People of God, I was so happy when that money came to me. I couldn't believe it, because even though I was persistent asking for my money, a part of me was still saying, what if these people will not give me my money? I was shocked. One night I saw a message from Upwork that she has paid all the bonus. Oh God, I jumped. I was so happy. Like, after everything, I finally got my money. Looking back on how everything worked, Upwork would have been the one to pay me that money, but it was because I wasn't really tracking my hours properly. I wasn't writing memos. I wasn't doing anything. I was just open my laptop. I would just come, open my laptop and start working, tracking my hours without really writing a memo of what I was doing. So because of that, Upwork couldn't defend me too. So here's one lesson I want you to get from this story I've told you. Here's one lesson. There are so many countless clients like this out there. There are so many of them out there. You know, you'll be working and all of a sudden you did not do anything. They'll just take you off from where you're working, or they'll start ghosting you. They won't tell you. And there's so many of them out there. I feel that it was God grace, and I was also lucky for these people to have actually paid me my money back. So one lesson I want you to grab from this: if you get a job on Upwork, especially an hourly paid job, in fact at this point of my life now, I feel like I prefer fixed payment job. I don't know, I prefer fixed payment job. Fixed payment job is so nice to me now. The current job I'm doing is fixed payment, and I so love it. Do you know why? For fixed payment job, you just have a deadline of, maybe you tell the client, okay, we're going to finish this work in 1 week, in 2 weeks, you understand? And let's say you have like a 2 weeks deadline for the client is going to first of all drop the first milestone. Okay, now that first milestone, let's say for example the job, all the project is $400, and the first milestone is $200. The client will send that $200 to Upwork. Upwork will hold that money, right? When you're done working the first what you're going to do for the first milestone, and you submit the job through Upwork, the client is going to approve. Immediately the client approve, you're going to get your money. Okay, you're going to get your money after some days. And even if the client did not approve, Upwork will still pay you. Yes, after you have submitted your work, after 14 days, Upwork will still pay you that money that the client has dropped for the first milestone, even if the client did not approve it. Yes, that is one thing about project fixed job that I love so much. So when you now do the second milestone and then the client approve, you can still also get your money from there. But when it comes to hourly paid job, you need to be very careful. You need to be able to track your hours very well. So one thing you should get from this video: if you're working with a client and what your work is a hourly job, not a fixed job, make sure you always write your memos. Make sure, don't see, if you're logging into, if you're working, right, and then you work for like 1 hour, and then you close the laptop, maybe you take a break, as you're coming back to work again, write a memo what you're doing. Okay, write a memo what you're doing. Let's say, okay, let me give you an example. If you don't know what a memo is, it's like something you write about what you're working on. Let's say for example you're working an Airtable job, and then you just started working it. The first thing you write the name of the job you're doing, and then you write what you want to do. If it's a base you want to create, you write it, creation of social base. You understand? After, let's say you close the laptop and you want to go and rest, you want to come back and start creating the tables, write that memo: creating of table. If you're supposed to create 10 tables, and then you create like 3 tables, and you want to go and rest, you've worked 1 hour, you come back, write memo: continue creating of tables. Do you understand? Make sure you always write memo. Make sure, in fact, even if it's every minute, be writing it there, because if something goes wrong, that's the only thing that Upwork can use to actually help you. If it might not really be in my own case that this client actually paid me my money. You might go and jam one strong head client that they will not even answer you, but is that memo you have written, Upwork will pay you all what you have worked. So here's all I have to tell you about this story. I hope you actually enjoyed the story, and I hope you learned something. If you're new to this channel, I've told you, make sure you subscribe before you go off. Make sure you subscribe, and also make sure you share this video so that other freelancers can also know about it. So I'm going to see you in my next one. So till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.